Have you noticed that your digestion isn't what it used to be? Are you struggling with bloating, constipation, or IBS symptoms? You're not alone. Millions of people face these issues, and the research shows that it's connected to more serious health issues as we get older. I'm Michael, a naturopathic doctor focusing on gut health, longevity. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why gut health declines as we get older, and more importantly, give you practical science-based strategies to restore digestion, reduce bloating, and enhance your overall well-being. Make sure you watch until the end because I'm also going to explain the top gut tests that you can do if you're struggling with chronic digestive issues. Tests that can help to pinpoint the exact cause of what's going on inside your gut, and this can help to give you personalized solutions. But first, let's look at why gut health declines as we get older. As we age, our gut health changes, and understanding these changes is the key to maintaining vitality once you get to your 40s and 50s and older. So let's explore exactly what happens inside our bodies as we get older and why these changes can lead to issues like bloating, constipation, diarrhea. Also, other factors like decreased nutrient absorption occurs as we get older. As we age, our digestion literally slows down. Stomach emptying takes longer, intestinal contractions weaken, and overall the gut transit time increases. This slower digestion can cause bloating, gas, constipation. Also, the intestinal lining often becomes more permeable or leaky. This is known as leaky gut, and that can allow potential harmful bacteria or toxins to pass through, leading to inflammation throughout the body. Your gut is meant to be permeable. So think of this as like a fly screen. You want to keep the unwanted bugs out, but allow nutrients to absorb into the bloodstream. And if the gut is more permeable, there's more and more toxins can get into your system. Plus, the pancreas produces fewer digestive enzymes, and the bile acids can reduce. This can affect nutrient absorption. And we want to prevent these changes before they become a problem. Often as we get older, stomach acid levels drop also. This can affect protein absorption and also have a flow-on effect to the gallbladder. And as we age, this decline in stomach acid can lead to vitamin B12 and iron absorption problems, increased susceptibility to infections, and the stomach acid is really important to help eliminate harmful microbes. As we get older, there is changes to our microbiome. This is the gut bacteria, and as we get older, we often have fewer and fewer beneficial bacteria. This could be because of lack of diet diversity. People tend to eat the same meals all the time and not as much fruits, vegetables, seeds as they could. And this can lead to more potentially harmful bacteria like Enterobacter increasing. And studies consistently show that reduced bacterial diversity and fewer short-chain fatty acids, which is crucial for gut health as we get older, can contribute to weaker digestion, impaired immune system, and increased inflammation. This is called inflammaging, and interestingly, people who reach 100 often maintain exceptional gut health with a good microbiome, as well as genetics can have a massive impact on this. Medication use also tends to increase as we get older, and unfortunately many people are prescribed drugs which can significantly disrupt the gut microbiome. Proton pump inhibitors, which are widely used for reflux and meant for short-term use, they affect the stomach acid, which then alters the gut bacteria, as I already mentioned. And this can lead to things like SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, dysbiosis. Also, other anti-inflammatory medications like NSAIDs, ibuprofen, can irritate the gut lining, potentially causing gastritis, ulcers, and leading to leaky gut. Antibiotics can also cause a disruption in the beneficial bacteria, leading to overgrowth in the wrong bacteria. Even medications for diabetes, depression, and pain management like metformin, SSRIs, and opioids all can disrupt the microbiome. I'm not suggesting you stop your medications and always check with your doctor, but they're often just treating the symptoms, not getting to the underlying cause of why you may need these medications. So optimizing your gut health is a good place to start. And while aging can often lead to these changes in your gut microbiome and gut health, the good news is that you have the power to counteract many of these through targeted diet, lifestyle, and supplement strategies, which we'll explore soon. First, we'll focus on diet. That is the most important thing, more so than supplements or anything else when it comes to gut health. The old saying, "you are what you eat," is very important. And your diet directly influences your microbiome. Another saying is you are what you absorb. So it's important to have good levels of digestion enzymes, stomach acid, bile salts to be able to absorb and digest the foods that you're eating. As we get into our 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond, what we eat becomes really important for maintaining digestive health. Fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, seeds, legumes provide the essential fuel for your beneficial gut bacteria. These bacteria, they ferment the fiber into short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate, and this is basically what probiotics make, or the good bacteria makes. And these short-chain fatty acids like butyrate significantly reduce inflammation, not just in the gut, but system-wide. They help to strengthen the intestinal lining, preventing leaky gut. And research clearly shows that increasing fiber overall reduces the microbiome diversity and gut inflammation. So if you're having trouble with fiber, you need to address things like SIBO, motility first, and then slowly build up and allow the microbiome to adjust to the extra fiber. Too much too soon can be a problem. For those people who don't have a problem with fiber, aiming for around 30 grams a day of fiber. Soluble fiber like beans, flax seeds, apples, they form a soothing gel and it's easily fermented by the gut bacteria to produce those short-chain fatty acids. Insoluble fiber from vegetables and fruits help to add bulk, and that helps to improve transit time and prevent constipation. For example, fruits like prunes and kiwi fruit can be excellent to help with symptoms of constipation. So remember to slowly increase your fiber intake and make sure you drink plenty of water as well. That can also help with the transit time. One of the best diets for aging and the gut microbiome in general is the Mediterranean diet. This is rich in the fruits, vegetables, legumes, fish, olive oil, and studies like the New Age trial have found seniors following this diet showed increased beneficial bacteria, reduced inflammation, and improved markers of aging. And the Mediterranean diet, as we know, is particularly important for reducing cardiovascular disease. Fermented foods, they also naturally introduce the beneficial bacteria into your gut, significantly enhancing your microbiome. A Stanford clinical trial confirmed that regularly consuming fermented foods increased microbial diversity and lowered inflammation throughout the body. You can see this connection between more good gut bacteria, less inflammation. And inflammation is the driving force behind chronic health issues. So adding things like good quality yogurt, kefir, they help to increase those beneficial species, sometimes even better than probiotics. Other options are pickled vegetables, kimchi, and you want to go for good quality ones. If you're finding that too much fiber or fermented foods are causing more symptoms, you may need to do a short-term low FODMAP diet. So for anyone who's struggling with IBS, bloating, or gut discomfort, the low FODMAP diet is highly effective. But you only want to do it short-term. This is not meant to be a long-term diet because these foods on the low FODMAP diet feed the beneficial bacteria in the large intestine. So it's just a short-term intervention to lower the bacteria in the small intestine, creating some of these bloating, gas, and discomfort. And there's studies showing that the low FODMAP diet is the best diet for IBS type of symptoms. And once you get good results with the low FODMAP diet, which may be 2, 3, 4 weeks, you want to slowly introduce the foods back in one category at a time to see if there's any particular trigger foods. And often if you address the underlying symptoms, you'll be able to add all the foods back into the diet. This is where herbal medicines can come into treating bacterial overgrowth. If you find that on a stool test, you have high levels of the unwanted gut bacteria. This is why working with a practitioner that understands SIBO, stool tests, and breath tests is really important. So in summary, just focus your diet on whole, unprocessed foods and get a wide variety. It doesn't mean you should never eat junk food or processed foods or sugars. And in fact, a good, healthy gut should be able to tolerate these foods from time to time. Focus on small changes like just adding more vegetables, or even just if you eat the same 3 or 4 vegetables all the time, have 1 new vegetable every week. Adding in homemade probiotic yogurt can be a great option. So next we'll explore probiotics and prebiotics and explain what they are and how they can help your gut health. So enhancing your diet is the #1 thing you can do, but supplementing strategically with probiotics and prebiotics can help you optimize your gut health. Especially if you've had a long period where you haven't eaten as well as you know you could have, or if you've had antibiotics in the past. I did an entire video on the best probiotics for people over 50, so if you watch that, I'll leave a link to the video in the show notes. You'll get a super deep dive into the best probiotics and all the different conditions they can help with. There's certain strains that are particularly effective for people as they get older. Strains like Bifidobacterium lactis HN019 can help constipation and transit time. There's different strains of Lactobacillus reuteri that can help with osteoporosis and bone density. Lactobacillus rhamnosus GG can help with immune function and inflammation. And it's really important that you don't just get any probiotic. These sort of long names with the little numbers at the end I'm saying, they're the specific strains that have been shown in the research to be beneficial. So it's not just any strain of Lactobacillus rhamnosus that works. And this is where doing advanced stool testing can help to understand which strains you specifically need to optimize your microbiome. So while most people have heard of probiotics, prebiotics are the foods that feed the beneficial bacteria. And a lot of these are found in your diet, and that's all the fibers I've been talking about. But you can also get prebiotic supplements like PHGG, inulin, arabinogalactans. There's a whole range. They all have funny names. Sometimes these are better for some people who are struggling with the foods because they can just add very small amounts of these prebiotics and gradually increase them. This allows the microbiome to adjust to these prebiotics, and as you slowly increase them, your diversity of gut bacteria will increase. Digestive enzyme supplements can also be crucial as we get older to help you digest the foods that you're eating. So having digestive enzyme with protease, lipase, amylase can help with fat, carbohydrate, and protein digestion. And this is another one that you can find out if you need it from a stool test. Betaine HCl is helpful for people with low stomach acid. It can improve both protein digestion and also stimulates bile and the pancreas to release pancreatic enzymes. As I mentioned before, it's not what you eat, but it's what you absorb. So having good levels of these digestive enzymes is crucial. So there's a number of other supplements that can be helpful, like peppermint oil, omega-3s, even vitamin D if you're deficient can be helpful for gut health. Magnesium to help with transit time. And the best way to know which supplements you need is to do some more advanced testing to understand what the underlying problem of your digestion is. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So if you've changed your diet and you're doing all of the right things, yet you're still getting symptoms, this is where doing some advanced gut testing and having a functional medicine approach can be invaluable. If your doctor's just giving you the label of, oh, you have IBS, or we've done a colonoscopy and there's nothing wrong, the advanced stool tests like the GI map or the Vibrant Wellness Gut Zoomer deep dive into not just the beneficial and pathogenic bacteria, but also whether you have enough pancreatic enzymes. Is there inflammation markers? Are you reacting to gluten? So it can really give you a deep understanding so you can personalize the treatment, especially for you. Another test that I sometimes run is a SIBO breath test, or use the food marble device to see if someone has SIBO. Other options that people do are things like food sensitivity testing. I find that is a last resort test because it's not super accurate. Especially if you have a lot of gut inflammation, you're going to get a lot of false positives from a food sensitivity test. You're better off doing a deep dive like the wheat zoomer if you want to find out about wheat or gluten intolerance, or dairy zoomer. They measure 20 or 30 different markers for wheat and dairy to see what is causing the problem rather than just a sensitivity test. I would always start with an advanced stool test like the Gut Zoomer before doing any food sensitivity tests. I'll leave a link in the show notes to a video all about this, but this measures over 300 different markers showing not just your bad bacteria, but all the different beneficial bacteria and other gut markers. So we can customize a treatment approach just for you. I wouldn't rule out doing a colonoscopy. They can be especially important for anyone over 50 or even younger if you've got a family history of colon cancer. Early detection is the key, but they can only measure things like potential cancer, polyps, inflammatory bowel disease. If it comes back normal and you've got digestion issues, this is when an advanced stool test comes into play. Let's look at the connection between the gut and the brain. There's a lot of research showing that there's a big gut-brain connection, and that can affect mood, anxiety, cognitive health, particularly as we get older. The gut bacteria can directly impact the neurotransmitter productions like serotonin, GABA, and if you have constipation, that's strongly associated with anxiety or leaky gut, because you can be absorbing the endotoxins from gut bacteria, and that's creating the inflammation that causes these symptoms. Also, things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease are connected to the gut bacteria or the gut microbiome. So there's some specific probiotic strains like Bifidobacterium longum, Lactobacillus helveticus that specifically support mood and cognitive function. Stress management is super important. Things like meditation, mindfulness, or yoga. Exercise in general is really important for overall well-being, but also gut health. There is research showing that self-hypnosis programs work really well. And I've seen great results with a program called Nerva, which is like a guided meditation to help you rebalance that gut-brain connection. So just to summarize, the first step is to optimize your diet. And if you add in more fiber, fermented foods, and you get great symptom improvement, that is fantastic. If not, try something like the low FODMAP diet just for a few weeks. And if that helps a lot, you still may want to go and do a gut Zuma or a more advanced test to measure what bacteria are out of balance causing the issue. If you change the diet, exercise, mindfulness practice, and you're still getting symptoms, have a look at doing tests like the gut Zuma, wheat Zuma to get to the underlying cause of what's going on. And if you're getting any red flag symptoms like blood in the stool or dark colored stools, this is something that you immediately need to get medical attention, see your doctor. And we can pick up blood in the stool tests that we do. And sometimes if I get high levels, I refer for a colonoscopy. Or if you're getting sudden weight loss or drastic change in your bowel habits, maybe you need to do a colonoscopy to see if there's a physical problem going on. So most people, when they optimize their diet, reduce down stress, exercise, optimize for digestive enzymes if they're lacking or stomach acid, they see a massive improvement in not just their gut health, but also less symptoms like anxiety, improved mood, reduced inflammation, and overall well-being. So have a look at this next video on the gut Zuma test, and you'll find out what an advanced stool test is all about. If you have any comments of what's worked really well for you, leave them below. I'll be happy to hear from you.